All right, welcome back to another episode of Sled Stories. We got Max and I sitting here in my garage, just kind of just chewing the fat a little bit, talking about kind of decompress after grass drags, and got everything out of the show back in our our storage unit.
Yep,
That's our storage unit to the stars that is packed full
our
of
display.
of gear at the moment, and just kind of getting back into the groove of not being in grass drags, which is such a build up for like the last
Yeah,
2 or 3 months. So
grass drags is like a 2 month build up for us, and then it's like a wedding. It's before you like it's over in an instant, and then you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that we survived it and did it again, and you get the nice feeling of I am the furthest away now from grass drags next year as I could possibly be, because we absolutely love doing it. It's a pleasure, but it is a lot of work and it's tough on the body. It's 4 or 5 days of just nonstop.
yeah,
So it was a good one, but I'm glad it's over. And
yeah, it was a good show. The Dust Bowl on Saturday. If anyone who was listening went to the show on Saturday, it was pretty unruly. It was just like 60-mile-an-hour gusts, and we were literally in a wind tunnel of the whole time. Of
it's funny, we were talking when we were there. We've had every kind of weather at grass drags. From crazy hot to freezing cold and snowy. We have never had dust like that. That was absolutely wild. And
Yeah,
it didn't stop. It did finally towards the end of the day, but that was brutal.
yeah, and then like you were just kind of giving me heck about my sled being covered in dust when it got back, and it was everything was covered, the gear, everything, the sleds.
Well, I was just gonna say that was like when I did all the inventory and we did the display breakdown and went to the store. Like everything was dirty because we went from dust bowl, to then rain and cold on Sunday. So all the dust that was stuck to everything still
Became like
then
mud.
then got wet and stuck to. It was yeah. The cleanup effort was a big one this year. It's usually we get away pretty easy, but this year
Yeah,
we had to wait a week, which we never do, to actually break down all of our stuff out of
out
the
of the
trailer.
trailer, yeah, because it was pouring.
Yeah, it was pouring rain. Like we can't put away, you can't dry stuff and clean stuff and put it away wet. That's just not. You
No,
can't do that.
no, no. So that was yeah. So that was an experience, but
It was.
to
It
say
was.
the least.
It
But
was. It was still a good show though. Obviously Sunday sucked. It rained. Everybody.
Sunday was slow.
If you went to grass drags or were planning or or in the area, yes. Saturday was gorgeous. Sunday was. That's the first time ever they closed the show 2 hours early, 3 hours early.
Yeah, they closed at 3, so
Yeah, three.
3 hours early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because usually it's 6 because they canceled all the racing. So without racing, they.
and they also canceled the racing on Saturday because of the wind.
That's right.
So there was no drag racing on Saturday afternoon, and then there was nothing on Sunday.
Yeah. So
I think
like
Ravex may have jumped a little bit
a
on
little
Sunday.
bit, yeah. And that was really different this year. Ravex was way over their not the booth, but their freestyle show was way over, kind of near where the lawnmower races and the helicopter guy was. And they opened up that area between us, and they moved the bleachers there, and it was definitely a different feel. But I liked it. It didn't get quite as crazy for us, when Ravex is doing the freestyle show, but it definitely gave people more breathing room because we were previously in a very congested area. And it
Yeah,
still is to some degree, but
yeah. I feel like they have to make a couple more like adjustments to it because the old place where Ravex show it was kind of like a dead zone. It was too big of a dead zone.
yes.
It's prime real estate, and there was like nothing there. There was like a
Right.
couple little chairs in front of the monster booth,
Yep.
and there was just a big empty area, and there was people full, time to time. But I mean, Sunday was kind of, low numbers, but I just feel like you could use that space,
And
you
that's
know.
what they're doing. Obviously, they had that race team. I can't remember which 2-7 side. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they had them. They had the monster people. They had, I think, 603 diesels. There was a bunch of so like it's exciting to see that they're making more room for
More
more
vendors,
vendors,
yeah.
which is awesome. Like that's, you know, if you've ever been to Heydays, which you're going to go next year, that's like there's vendors, not like so many more vendors there, and so like I love seeing grass drags try to push for more people to come. It doesn't even matter if they got anything to do with snowmobiling. Like, it's just like going to a fair. The more stuff you can see, the more attractions there are for
Exactly.
people, the better.
And Chris, if you're listening,
Chris,
we have some ideas for grass drags next year.
yeah,
And one of the ideas, there's two. I think there's two main ideas that we were brainstorming around. first idea is now that RaveX has moved down further down the that kind of stretch they're at
Yeah.
now, if there's any way to make it continuously around the lake.
Right.
If you could make an oval so people take a lap around the whole lake and have vendors around the whole lake versus having it kind of all shut down for all the pits, which obviously need to be somewhere.
They still got to be there, yeah.
But if there was a way to make it all the way around the lake, because it's like you have a horseshoe, you have 2 dead ends, and you have just a big U, So if you just connect it, it would, the flow would be.
It's funny. It's actually gone the opposite way because if you remember the guy from your town, the pig park guy that did the really good barbecue, the one year he was on the other lakeside all the way at the end of the drag strip, the grass drag strip, which like they don't. I don't remember any vendors being there anymore. Like this year, I don't think they went.
So.
They went deep. Because remember, like one of the first years we did it, I had to pull somebody out of the mud out there. Some dude was like, he's got one of those, fried Oreo, pig in the blanket kind of like, concessions, and he buried his truck way the hell out there, and we ended up having to pull him out. But I don't think they have any vendors over that way anymore.
I don't think so. I didn't really walk around that area too much, but I kind of feel like it was changed up from there.
Can you imagine, like, disclaimer, we love grass tracks and we love the watercross, but it wears on you when it's constant around for days and days and days. And like, can you imagine if you're a vendor at the end of the drag strip?
Oh yeah, you would.
The sound and the repetitiveness would drive you mad.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the other big topic we were talking about, which would be a little hard to pull off, would be if you had live music.
Live music would be such a great idea if somehow they could incorporate, even if it's just a local cover band or whatever, because obviously all the people stay. Well, that would be tough though, because you'd have to have it in an area that's not part of the main grounds, because you can't have people wandering around after dark. But you could,
Well, no, you wouldn't have. I guess my idea was you wouldn't. It would be an all-day thing,
right?
It wouldn't be like a concert after the show. It'd be just live music the whole day,
right? Well, that actually would parlay into the other idea that we were talking about is Saturday. Make Saturday a 9 o'clock day and make Sunday a 2 or 3 o'clock day. So that way you would have concerts or live music or whatever Saturday later, and keep the show open from 9 to 9. Who cares? And then make Sunday a condensed day, because it doesn't matter how beautiful the weather is. Usually after 2 or 3 o'clock on Sunday, it slows like way down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I think we've always brought that up, and it's because of the racing schedule.
Yeah.
Because the drag racers, they go right until 6 o'clock. So
of course.
So.
Right. But you still could,
Yeah.
You still could do both.
You still could do both. I think having like a revolving, not like concert based, but just like a stage where people could walk up and listen and have tables and just again, to your point, it's just one more attraction.
Yeah.
It's like one more thing to be like, oh, that my band's playing so and so day or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a big improvement. I think to Grass Track.
Absolutely. I think and obviously they're making improvements. They're doing stuff to change things up and make it, again, moving the bleachers, moving RaveX, opening stuff up. So like, yeah. I just want to see it keep evolving. Like it's nice when there's a big change. There hasn't really been a big change in a while. So
well, this was the biggest change this year in a while. Was the bleachers moving and the RaveX show and all that was a big change this year, which is nice. It's nice to keep things fresh.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but yeah, so no, Grass Track was good, but
It was a good show.
So yeah, Chris, just think about that a little bit.
It was. I was going to say it was a slightly more subdued year this year because the Scranton crew wasn't there, and like we hang around with them all the time, and they're lively and stuff, and it's fun. But it was actually really good to connect with Tom Caboza. Obviously, this is the first time TKI came out to Grass Drags from Montana, and he's from Idaho. I'm sorry, and it was really cool to like finally meet him face to face and chat with him and put a face to the name, and we shot the breeze with him for a good 45 minutes, just learning about his business and what he does and all his products and stuff. And I was really, really glad to see him there. And he said he had a good show and they were going to come back, which is like, that's, you're like, yes, good.
Yes, that's a good, attracting more vendors that are kind of bigger in the name, in the industry would be nice, as far
Absolutely.
as out West companies that come out and,
right.
and kind of dabble and see what,
Yeah,
Grass Drive is all
for
about.
him, I mean, that's shit. It was like a 36-hour drive or something like that. So like, if he's saying it's worth his time, then that's like that's really good. That's awesome. And quite frankly, this year just wasn't as good, as a vendor as other years
Previous
have
years,
been.
yeah.
We still did, everyone still did fine, but obviously the weather Sunday, put a slight damper on things. But he said they still did great, so it's like awesome.
Yep.
You want new vendors to be there, and you want them to do good. I was talking to Ralph from Rave X after. We were just chatting, again, chewing the fat about how the show was and everything. And, we were just talking about how each other were doing and whatever. And I was like, we both were basically saying, like, we want everyone to do good. I want them to kill it. I want all
Of
the
course,
dealerships
yeah.
to. We want everybody that's there to be as successful as they possibly can be. There's no competition. There's nothing like that. Like it's good to see the sport healthy. Well,
Yeah, I wonder if Tom from TKI. I wonder if he like parlayed more stops along the way. If he was going to hit Syracuse or any other shows around.
I don't think so because he had to get back for Denver.
Oh yeah.
Because it was, excuse me, grass drags, grass drag weekend off and then Denver.
Yeah, because I think I actually asked him the question. I was like, do you do one of these shows out here? And I think this was kind of his test year to kind of like see.
Yeah.
To see if he could make it work with another show to kind of like
right,
get more bang for your buck if you're making a trip out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I got some TKI goodies.
Yeah, what did you get? A brake lever?
Or... Yeah, and I'm considering his big wheel kit.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's kind of I got a lot.
You don't got enough going on already.
Yeah, no, she's under the knife right now. She's got to get some things powder coated and just going through it. Like it's like when you get a new sled, like. Well, for me, I'm obviously like on the same chassis for like 12 years, so it's like nothing's different. No, nothing really changes too much. But like getting on this thing, I'm like taking it apart, and I'm like, man, this thing is so different. Like, the frame and everything we were talking about, like it's lightweight.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
but
oh god, like
to rewind a little bit, people may not know this. The first time you ever saw the new Catalyst or your new sled, Livingston's brought it to us at Grass Drags.
Right.
So we're at Grass Drags setting up, and Steve messages you, and he's like, "Hey, I got your sled," and they were nice enough to put the wrap and everything on it for you. And I remember,
oh god,
wow, I remember it. That's the first time that's happened. All right, talk about something so I can fix this. Talk about your Catalyst.
Yeah, no, Steve was a huge that was a huge help. But if it wasn't for him and his his help, there's no way it would have made it to the show, and it would have been just a lot more of a logistical thing for me to get the sled, to get all of the starts off of it and to powder coat and to
oh, absolutely,
to kind of like get it ready for the season would have been so he did me a total solid.
He did you a total solid. And the wrap looks awesome. It turned out really good.
Yeah, I think once I get some more powder coating matching stuff, so I can just
So that's what's going on right now with all the pieces and parts and stuff.
Yeah, so I got to I'm working on the skid right now to get that out and get that off. It's always the whole powder coating thing.
Yes.
It pisses me off because
why?
Because it's a lot of work just to change the color on something, and then you end up just breaking it, and then when you break it, you're like, shit. Now I got to get repowder coated.
Now it's that much harder.
Yeah, you're married to that color for ever.
Forever.
Yeah.
There we go. Ish.
That's gonna fall again.
You think so? Oh boy. The little foot came off and it rolled over there, and I'm not gonna go get it. It'll be all right.
I don't feel so bad because I don't know if you watched the Joe Rogan JD Vance podcast. Oh, he had some pretty good audio trouble.
Well?
They lost mics for like a couple minutes.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, so it happens to Joe Rogan.
That's embarrassing for a Joe Rogan, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what's kind of going on here. But yeah, just looking through it, I'm like, obviously they're going for a lightweight sled, and I totally understand that. But I just look at the way my 21 is built and then this is built. They're definitely different.
Yeah.
They're definitely like this. This is much more stripped down and like going for a lighter sled.
Well, yeah.
Which I just hope they don't compromise quality because, dude, I've hit some stuff in my 21 cat that like I thought for sure would just turn to dust. And it never did. So I'm just I don't know.
Time will tell. I mean, although it's still the same chassis as the 600 Catalyst, and people spent an entire year on those, and no one, I don't remember reading any like, oh, this thing's fragile and it'll fall apart if you hit something. Like, it seemed like people were beating the bag out of them and still doing okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
So yeah, I guess time will tell. But
Yeah. So
but
what's all you got left to do is the rail? Get the mono.
yeah, I gotta get the rail out, and then
Yeah.
I gotta, like I said, I gotta see about my my shocks. I gotta get them revalved for
Yeah.
Baby Gorilla.
Big boy.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like probably with gear I'm probably 250.
Yeah.
So if those are valved for 185 pound rider,
Yeah.
it's no bueno.
Yeah. No es bueno.
I could have done that when I was in like
High school.
junior high school.
Yeah. Junior high.
so if that's the case, I gotta send those out. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I told you I got new shocks. I got QS3 coilovers coming for the 146 Chaos, which they're the Foxes, and I'm really excited about. The Walker Evans that are on them. Remember, I blew both of them when I was in Gaspé, and it's not necessarily the shock's fault, but it is just kind of a poor design. Is the way the reservoir hangs out on those ones. If the reservoir twists even a little bit, it's not molded into the shock body, so it moves. Or it can move, it shears off this like little crossover tube, and then they leak oil, and then that's it. So that happened to both my front shocks in the same weekend when we were in Gaspé. So I just want to try something different.
Like you said, that reservoir is sticking out. It's the widest thing.
Yeah.
It sticks out way further than any of the plastics.
Right.
So you lay it on its side and you're sliding down a hill,
Right.
and there's anything in the snow, it's just gonna hit it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was trees or whatever did it, but it
It's
one
like
of
something
them one of them I knew I hit something, and I was like, oh crap. And the other one, I remember we were riding back, someone was like, are you leaking on that side too? And I'm like, what the I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. Cool. So
Yeah.
I want to try those.
Yeah, I was like so tempted to take. I don't know if they're the same, the same size or whatnot. But taking my QS3s off my Alpha and putting them on this, and then sending those shocks out with that sled. But I'm like,
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. So
Yeah. And it's not like you're keeping your old Alpha, so it's not like you're selling that and like the next guy can deal with those shocks. They're still your shocks. They're still
yeah, right, exactly. So it's
you're going to be riding them either way, so you might as well just
not really worth it.
No,
so.
it's definitely not worth it.
But speaking of worth it, grew
Yeah,
locked in.
There's some wood. There's some wood.
There's a bunch of scrap wood over there.
Yeah, some scrap wood. Grew is locked in, and it's gonna happen this year. Damn it, we're gonna. Yeah, Strickland got it locked in again, and it's gonna be a. Yeah, it's gonna be a whirlwind. It's the weekend before Jackson, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's the weekend before Jackson.
Yeah.
So.
Close.
Yeah, and I want to go to Jackson this year because I couldn't go last year for previous other reasons. So, yeah, but I really, 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 really hope it comes together this year. I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, locked in or not, it's it comes back to the weather. And I was passing out, obviously, as we record this, Halloween was a couple days ago, and I was passing out candy in shorts.
Yeah, it was 75 degrees.
It was the hottest Halloween on record, so that's not good news.
No, but it's cold as hell now.
It's cold now.
Yeah.
But it's
but that's what it does. That's what our weather pattern has been. Weather comes in, or moisture comes in, precipitation, and it's warm, and it rains or then freezes, and then it gets brutally cold.
Yeah.
Which we need the cold and the moisture at the same time, not independent of each other.
Oh, and it's supposed to be like 60 again this week for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, it's even going to like screw up, kind of hunting season too. It's not fun to sit in the woods when it's warm. 60.
No, you want to sit when it's chilly and it's
Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I'm super excited for Gru. It's like that's going to be like an adventure type of type of ride.
Yeah, and again, obviously I've driven up there, but you haven't, and it's gonna be like holy crap. It's just it's so remote that I really just hope it snows. Hope it happens.
Oh. Yeah, well, again, last year we called it off, but they ended up at the last minute.
They ended up riding, yeah. And he said it was good and decent, but even Andrew was like, it's definitely not like we've gone before. It's been epic before, and this was just this was okay.
Right, and you talk about the amount of driving for us to have it be, you want it to be.
Yeah, we pivoted and went to Gaspé, which is just a quick 8 hours. And Gru is like 14, so yeah, it's a
right. And even the chick shocks were kind of
it was riding. It was fun. It was fun. We made the best of it that we could. But
yeah, I really hope Jonathan can be our guide this year.
did you look into that anymore?
I looked into as far as texting him, and then he said we had to request it. So.
Oh yeah, and I guess Andrew was gonna check with the dude. I just don't know if that happened.
Yeah, they have to like. I guess when you make your reservation, you have to like put in a recommendation, not a recommendation, but a first and second, I guess, of people. I'm obviously never done it before, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's what Jonathan told me. But.
Yeah, because I think Andrew said that he's like, oh, I got the same guide that we've gotten before. Because when you go up there, you have to ride with a guide, and so yeah, he's like, yep, same.
And you have to ride with
stock exhaust.
That too.
Yeah, I took my on my red sled, the 146. I took the bumpers off to get them powder coated. While the rear just never even got done, and yeah, I kind of don't care anymore. I'm not going to put an aftermarket can on my sled out east. I'm just not going to do it anymore. Like It's just not worth it. Yeah. I don't. Are you really going to notice the lightweight difference? Probably not. Do you need the sound? No. Well, the what ifs about Fish and Game, and I was like, you know how nice it is? Like, I went down to Snowdio last year on my sled and saw stock. It's like, you just don't have to worry about that anymore at all.
You're getting old.
So what? You are too. Same age as me, cowboy.
No.
Yes.
No, so, I'd be really curious on how much the stock Polaris can weighs compared to that thing. Because that thing is ridiculously heavy.
Yeah, the stock Polaris one is too.
It's got to be a little bit lighter. No,
I don't know. I'll weigh it when I get home. Are you gonna put a can on that one?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're holding on to your youth.
I am. I am. No, I want to. But yeah, I do see what you're saying as far as like tickets and going places and whatnot. But I mean.
I don't know. I don't care about the sound really at all, quite frankly. Now on the turbo, that's a very different story because the sound is just very different. But on an NA sled like that, it does
I don't really care
good.
about the sound so much as I care about the weight.
Of course.
On this thing.
Yeah, and it is nice too because like you almost, especially on a stock exhaust, you could on yours get a hot dogger on there on the elbow where it comes down, maybe, but like there's not a lot. There's not a lot of room.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room. It's just the thing is so dang heavy. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see, but it just sounds
so is the rider. So just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. That's like the only one. That's the only one real trip planned for this thing. So
yeah.
I don't know. As far as going up the Chick Chocks, I don't know if we're gonna.
Well, yeah. Who knows? It all depends. It all depends on snow. Obviously, if the snow is kick ass here, we don't really have we don't have a need or a desire to go anywhere. And now, especially that we found the awesome place in our own backyard where we can go ride when the snow's decent, like that's killer.
Well, we didn't find it.
Well, we found it through our friends.
We got some guys
who found
awesome.
it. Yeah, for sure. So it's we got a whole new world of riding to do. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah. Which again, we touched on this before, but really works out for your weekend plans and getting some really decent riding in that's close, and we don't have to drive 3 hours and whatever, and then kind of use the whole weekend. You can just.
But think about last year, the best day we had was on a Tuesday or whatever. So like it's even easier. Obviously, you can't always just bang out of work because you got obligations or whatever. But like if you get a really good storm and it's 40 minutes away, we can go ride for a day in the middle of the week. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily burn a weekend.
Right, exactly, yeah,
because it's so close.
Right, yeah, it's like going. I remember back when my kids were young, like doing what we call shotgun weekends, where you go up to Pittsburgh on a Saturday morning ride, come back Saturday.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, it does. When you got to scratch that itch, though, you got to do it.
And it's never the morning drive there. It's the end of the day.
Yeah,
when everyone's like cracking beers and just kind of relaxing, you're like, all right, well, let's load up and drive 3 hours home, and you're just like,
and you're groggy and tired,
cold and wet, and you're just like, oh yeah. You get home, and you're like, oh my god.
And then you got to get all your gear and your crap out of the truck and like do all that sort of stuff. And
yeah, so
yeah,
but that makes it a lot better.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I need that. I'm gonna be putting I did a bunch of work to the Ram today to getting ready to put the sled deck in, so I need that wrap. You know,
Oh, yeah.
whenever you get a minute.
Yeah.
Because we wrapped his truck box deck, and we did a new wrap on that, and it turned out really cool. And I'm like, I want that one too.
Gotta refresh it.
Yeah, mine's old shit. That's the original one that I got with it probably 8 years ago. And now it's just, the corners are tattered, and it just, from pressure washing and road salt, it just, and quite frankly, there's different sponsors and affiliates on it now than there were,
Yeah.
8 years ago and stuff. So it's time for a refresh.
Yeah, probably time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on Purple Haze's wrap right now.
Oh, I heard you.
Yeah. So it's
Is he keeping any silver or gray per my recommendation, or is he just going straight purple and black?
there's a little gray in it.
Good.
Why,
Good.
was that the original?
Yeah, well, okay, so his sled is a blacked out Boost RMK, and it's got a little bit of gray in it. A couple of the like accent panels are like a really dark gray charcoal, and the some of the vents, and basically it's just got a couple little light touches of this dark gray color. And he's like, I'm gonna get that repainted. I'm gonna blah blah blah. And I'm like, Justin, you can't do just purple and black. Like the purple and black and a little bit of gray silver. I'm like, you got to have you can't just do two colors. You got to have a third, like complementary little light color in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad he took that advice.
Yeah. He was sending me some screenshots. He was trying to build on Chris's site, and so he was like, "Oh, you think you can? I kind of like this, and at least he gives me like somewhat of a baseline to go off of." So
yeah,
we'll see. Now it's like going back to the grass tracks things. Now it's like I have a little bit more time, so I'm not like rushing to get everything done for the show. So I have a little more because it's like getting your wrap done, getting this wrap done for the show. It's like you have a deadline where it's like I got to get this done. Right. Now the deadline is kind of
winter.
Yeah,
yeah.
Kind of New Year's is pretty much the
No,
the first
my
time around
deadline's
here.
my deadline's like Thanksgiving, please.
Yeah.
Because I want to get, well, obviously when we get parts back from powder coat, like that's basically when I'm going to start like working on the sleds, and like my 146, I got to take that wrap off, which sucks, and sucks. Put a new wrap on, do the powder coating upgrades or, updates and shit, and just do, some odds and ends. I'm going to put mag tethers on them and just little stuff, nothing crazy. So
Mag tethers.
Yeah, the Polaris has I don't know what kind of tether where you actually got to like snap it onto the thing.
Yeah, this has got like a little spider thing.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, like especially if you get a ton of snow in there. Sometimes they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I like the magnetic DuraPro ones because those don't play. Those just snap right back without.
Oh, and thank you for no one stealing my tether at Grass Rags. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, well, that's not chipped though, is it? It doesn't matter. Any tether would work, right? It's just a magnet.
I don't know.
Does it have an individual part number on it? Does it say like?
No, it's got a QR code on it though.
Oh,
I don't know. But I think like Saturday afternoon, I was like, "Oh shit, my key and my tether are still in my set. I hope no one goes in and just yanks my tether off."
That would be that'd be a butthole thing to do, is someone steal your key or your tether just for the hell of it.
Or your stuffed beer cans in your sled, or
yeah.
graham crackers all on your sled.
Marshmallows, whatever.
Yeah. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I know.
But,
yeah, so
what else?
I got to go. I got to meet with my surgeon on Tuesday.
Oh,
so that's going to be a big deciding factor on how my season goes. Unfortunately, my injury has hung around a lot longer than I anticipated, and it's still.
I don't think it's more than you anticipated. You had to have in the back of your mind it was at least going to be a year.
No.
Then
no. Even the doctor said usually 6 months is like you're good to go, and I am completely good to go. But basically, what I'm meeting the surgeon for is the hardware that they used to put my leg back together. The hardware now is causing a lot of pain. So the screws and the plate itself they're really tender, and I can feel the screws, and it hurts, quite frankly. I can run and jump and do everything I normally do, but when I'm like, if I'm really big, like yesterday, I was working on a deck, like I'm paying for that. Like, so you got to think about a riding weekend or going, for a 3 or 4 day sled trip. Like, I could kick my own butt for a day and be like, whatever about tomorrow. But like multiple days of riding are probably really not going to be currently. I couldn't do it right now. I couldn't go on a sled trip right now and go ride for 3 days. I would be in agony at the end of like the second day.
Right.
And like, obviously, everything to do with technical snowmobiling is just your confidence, and it's all your mind. Anybody can. It's a mind game. So if I'm like questioning, or I don't have confidence in my leg or in my, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be this thing that's going to linger, and just like, screw me up, quite frankly. So
Of course, yeah.
so we're going to see. Usually the type of surgery or the type of injury that I had, I guess it's a pretty high probability of people that get the hardware removed. They like to wait a year to do it. I'm coming up on 9 months, and I'm going to really try to push to have it done this year. I'd like to do it like somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I have enough time to recuperate and not screw the season up. So,
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. The surgeon very well might be like, nope, tough shit. You're living with it, and come back when it's 12 months. That very well could happen, and it is what it is. Or you can be like, no, I agree. It's it's causing you problems, and let's take it out. So I have no idea. I'm.
You think you can hang that snap-on light on it?
No, it's titanium. I don't think it's magnetic.
Oh, it's titanium.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think so. Is titanium magnetic?
I don't know. We want to find out.
Sure, we can try. I don't think it's gonna work though. Gimme. It's a pretty good magnet in this thing, right? Let's find something metal. Yeah, so that works.
Oh yeah, it'll.
I'll even pull my pant leg up. I don't think it's gonna work though. Let's see.
The screws might be.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Oh
No.
man, that would have been.
No, a big scar there. I mean, it's for real. Yeah, no, nothing at all.
Oh.
No,
Well,
sorry. That parlor trick isn't.
your party trick's not gonna work.
Not gonna work.
But guess what? If I'm working on something, I can just clunk.
Ka-chunk.
I got my own little light stand.
No, I could be working on a sled. Those magnetic trays for like the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
You can slap it to your leg and walk around with it. So it's always with you.
Or you see those you ever seen those crazy tattoos those crazy bass fishermen guys get? They get the big tape measure on their legs so they can put the fish on it.
Yeah.
It's like body enhancements. You can get your own magnetic,
Parts holder.
yeah, your own parts holder. Yeah, no, I mean, so I know when you originally got hurt, I was in my head, I was like, oh, it's going to be at least a year to get back fully healed.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
the thing is, I'm going off the same timeline of when I broke my other leg, which you were there, did it in college, and I had a cast for a while and stuff. But as soon as the bone was healed and the cast was off after I don't know 2.5 months or whatever, I was fine. Obviously, I had to regain strength and all that sort of stuff. But the bone itself didn't hurt, whereas this hurts all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it's because of the hardware, no doubt about it.
You were also a young buck.
I was, and yeah, getting older.
Because how old were you then? You must have been 21.
Yeah, 22.
Something like that.
Yeah,
when you
something
broke
like
the
that.
first time?
Yeah, obviously being younger, certainly you heal quicker.
Now you're coming up on 40.
Yeah,
so it's,
yeah. You're gonna beat me there, cowboy.
Shut up, dude.
You're gonna beat me there.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Feeling old. That's all right. We're
But
elder.
I think for you, it's going to be a slow roll.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
trail ride. See how that goes.
Well, yeah, and
I'm
really hoping that we get snow. This all comes back to snow, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
If there's good snow, I'll be totally content taking it easy the first half of the season or whatever you want to call it until the really good snow develops in the woods. Regardless, I'm not gonna go chasing any chicken shit snow to ride in the woods. It's got to be good, or I'm not gonna try to do it. So I'm hoping I can scratch the itch with trail riding as much as possible, before the season develops. Well, who knows? We get a giant dump, and
Well, because we were talking about it too. You were saying about your head not being confident in your leg, or your confidence in this and that.
Yeah.
If you're in a really sticky situation,
yeah,
and
it's like a do or die maneuver to get out of a situation.
And your leg, whether it's your leg or your head or a combination of the two, you could be in a really tough spot. Of
course.
If it's one thing, obviously, if your sled mechanically gives out and you're like, fuck, Dave blowing his drive shaft. And
Sure.
Like that, it's obviously
It is what it is, yeah.
But if it's something to do with your leg, not only are you in a predicament with your current, your sled in upside down in a tree well or
Sure.
whatever it is, but then if you do hurt it again, you're also in the middle of the chick jocks.
Oh, absolutely.
Or some technical place where it's
Yep.
I have to get out of here now.
Yep.
And get my sled out of here. And so it's
Right.
there's just a lot to unpack with to getting
Yes.
into a high consequence situation.
Yes. Trust me, this has gone through my mind repetitively, and
I would assume you're going to wear some sort of brace.
I mean, I wear not a brace, but I wear those Pastrana compression knee pad things anyway. I have a really good compression sleeve that I'll probably wear underneath that as well. but I can't wear a brace on top of the knee pads. It's just not going to work.
Mm-mm.
And a brace isn't gonna matter because it isn't my actual knee that's broken. It's or that's screwed up. It's the tibia. You can't. There's no brace made that's going to make your tibia not. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's different. It would be different if I did tear like an ACL or an MCL or
Right. I
something
think
like
yeah,
that.
that's a good point.
I didn't. I broke a bone. So
Right.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's not strength of like your tendon would be a problem.
Right. Basically, in order for that situation to be a problem, I'd literally have to break a bone again. Which, no, don't ever want to do
Don't
that.
Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I know. But unfortunately, I've had my share of injuries over the years, and I've broken a plethora of bones. And this one's an
How many
MF
bones have you? How many bones have you broke?
Oh Jesus, I haven't counted.
Oh, gee, that's a lot then.
Probably a dozen, I would say.
Yeah.
Broke my left leg twice, broke my wrist, broke a bunch of ribs, broke my kneecap, never broke a collarbone, I did break a wrist, never arm or anything like that. Fingers, I broke all kinds of fingers. So yeah. But both legs, that's pretty much the big ones. Breaking your leg it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. So
yeah, knock on wood. I've only broke a couple. My hand twice.
Yep.
My ankle.
Yeah, you broke
rib.
Like this.
Yeah, I broke my hand twice here.
Yep.
But that's it. I never.
Ribs suck.
Ribs suck.
Ribs are the worst because you just can't do anything, and no matter what you do, it's uncomfortable. And sleeping sucks. And oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ribs are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, leg's pretty bad too. Quite frankly, it's pretty bad.
I would choose rib over the leg for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. You can even ride with a broken rib. It's really hard to, but your most important extremities all work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if a brace is not out of the question, but is there anything else that could? Probably not. Probably just a compression sock to give you a little bit more stability.
Yep, that's it. Well, and that's the thing that's like kind of the mind F right now is I want to get my strength is coming back slowly, but I want to like start doing squats and I want to start rowing and I want to start actually doing dedicated leg exercises so I can get my strength back to where it needs to be on that leg. But right now I can't do it because after the residual pain from the hardware is like it's a barrier for me to do it. Like I don't want to build a little muscle then to be in pain and limping around the whole next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing to the doctor. It's like, because currently I have no restrictions. I can run, I can jump, I can kick a soccer ball. I can do anything I want to do. I'm fully clear, but obviously there still shouldn't be pain associated with just normal everyday activities. So that's where my head is at, is like, I think I'm one of those people that's going to need to get it out regardless. I just don't want to wait. I want to get through all this and be done with it and start getting my strength back and,
Right. And obviously for you, it's a different, set of circumstances because from a doctor's perspective, they're like, just, they don't have the same thought of like my season's coming and I wait for the season my whole.
That doctor doesn't give a shit about that. That's not their concern. Their concern is your health and that nothing else.
Exactly.
Your hobbies and your snowmobiling, you don't want to hear any of that.
Right. In his mind, he doesn't. It's like they're not trying to get you ready for anything. They're just like
right.
So they're not gonna just pull it out for
for fun
because you want to go snowmobiling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like nope, like or yes or
And quite frankly, I'm not even gonna mention that I'm because. Realistically, snowmobiling shouldn't be the reason I'm doing it anyway, and I'm not. Even if
the pain is
exactly, I'm doing it because because it's uncomfortable, and I want it not to be uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah,
quite frankly. So
definitely doing some exercises like I think one thing like and no one tear me apart, but like Pilates are like all like the reformer Pilates on like the sled with the springs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that would be really good for you because it's a lot of like single leg like squatting, but not with your body weight, but like a spring assisted. And there's like you can do your heel, your toe, like how you position your foot on the bar.
Yeah,
puts different pressure on different muscles in your leg. So it's like there's a lot of that would probably
it's
low
not
impact stuff.
Yeah, it's not Pilates necessarily, but I just stretch a lot and do a lot of like just range of motion stuff and just like that. That's something I can do similar to Pilates or like yoga or whatever that just feels good and it's not physically, it's not impactful, it's not exertion, it's again range of motion, strength style stuff.
Yeah, they use the reformer Pilates, they use them like the NFL a lot
Oh,
for
yeah.
for like rehab for a lot of leg injuries and whatnot, because it is low impact. You're not running. You're not
Speaking of the NFL, did you see the statistic that they're like the number one consumer of Uncrustables? And you know my affinity, you know my love for the Uncrustables. And I saw that stat that they consume like 50,000. All teams, all across all the teams, consume like 50,000 Uncrustables
That's
during
hilarious.
during a season or something like that. And I'm like, that is awesome.
I got a case in the freezer. Right
I know.
there.
I'm gonna grab one for the road before I leave for sure. I definitely will mess me up some Uncrustables.
I know, because Allison will go and she'll get some for the kids, obviously, and like they're just gone because I just eat them all.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, "Where are all the Uncrustables?" I'm like, "I ate them." She's like, "The whole
don't
box."
know.
I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's been there for a couple days, so it's gone." Like, I can't help it. You get them
Dude,
out of the.
it's funny. I used to make like the most elaborate muffler meat like sandwiches and all this, and like a lot of times I realized it was giving me like you feel kind of logy and fat after, and like I don't know, like you can't eat a bunch of carbs and feel good after. So like I still do love my hot dogger, and I'll cook like I'll do some leftovers or do like whatever, but like I've definitely lightened up on what I eat in the woods.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the day. It depends
Yeah.
on where you're going, how long you're going to be out. Like, something about a hot sandwich is like,
Or a full taco bar.
or a full taco bar. Shout out to Nick for that.
Yeah, we did that, and that's not just an inside joke. We put it on Instagram. But we were in Gas Bay the last day. We had all kinds of leftover food for. We were going to do a dinner of tacos and stuff. And yeah, Nick
Nick Pratt was like, "Oh, I got taco bar on the woods." We're like, "Okay."
So we brought the entire shooting match. We were making burritos and tacos and the whole thing in the middle of the woods. That's one for the memory books for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one.
That didn't count though. That's not heavy.
Yeah, but yeah, Uncrustables are good because they're delicious freezing cold.
They're delicious freezing cold. Yeah. Or like even just lukewarm, even if you keep them in your like, your hood or your like whatever, so they don't like freeze rock solid. They're good no matter what. And they're just so convenient and quick and easy and like
I eat those right out of the freezer.
Oh,
It's like ice cream.
oh yeah. You ever toasted one?
No,
Try that.
put them in the hot dogger.
Well,
Put a couple.
you're gonna wait until winter. I'm just saying, throw the thing in the toaster. It's delicious.
Those things, but like they're delicious, but they're so expensive.
They're ridiculously
just-
expensive for what they are.
You can make your own for like a fraction. Of the
Yeah,
price.
but
But it comes in a little package and it's all ready
and
to
it's
go.
got the crust, even though it's an Uncrustable. It's got a crust and it's delicious.
And they sell them at Costco in a big box.
I know, giant box. I was telling your wife, I just got some of the peanut butter honey ones. My wife got them for me, and I'm so excited because I love those.
Peanut butter honey Uncrustables?
Oh hell yeah, man!
So just peanut butter and honey and no
That's it.
jelly.
Just peanut butter honey.
Huh.
Yeah. I had them for.
What a world.
I had those for the very first time in Wolf Creek, Colorado last year when I went to do the avalanche class with Matt Entz. I went, that little podunk grocery store in town.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Dave just went to go get, your basic breakfast stuff and just stuff to survive for a couple days. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get Uncrustables. And they had peanut butter honey. I'd never seen that before. And I was like, oh my God. They were so good. I wish I would have bought like the store out because I've never been able to find them since around us. Maybe that's a
order them
Colorado.
online. They probably have a bunch more we don't even know about.
Yeah, I know. Listen, they're already expensive enough as it is. I'm not paying shipping. I'm not. An Uncrustable should be like 50 cents. Like there's nothing there. It's white, the whitest crap white bread, a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of jelly. Like it should be cheap, and they're like $3 a piece. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense from like a capitalism standpoint.
Yeah, if you're Smuckers, it makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Those they probably sell those by the pallets to
It probably cost them 7 cents to make one of those friggin' things.
Oh, of course.
And then they, obviously by the time you get it, they're $3 a piece.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a delicious $3.
Dude, I've seen them in the airport, like, the vending machines for like, when you're running between gates or whatever. I've seen them in the airport for like $8 a piece in a vending machine. And I'm like, it'll be a cold day in hell before I pay that much. It's not the money, it's the principle. It's like, you guys are getting out of control. Like, this is way too much, man.
Yeah, jar of jelly, jar of peanut butter and bread is, probably run you like $8 for
a while.
100 sandwiches.
A while. Yeah, a while.
But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a good topic is food to eat in the woods.
Yep.
Food to eat in the woods was Uncrustables are good. Burritos are good. Like a good burrito.
Yeah, burrito's fine. Burrito doesn't, obviously just something simple, nothing, nothing wild. I got over the Hot Pocket. Hot Pockets are tough. You almost got to pre-cook them to actually make them.
Yeah, they don't cook unless you're like screaming trails and you're like
right
or doing
constant
crazy pulls or something. But like
it
stop and go and tree riding
doesn't get hot enough.
Doesn't get hot enough.
No. I actually like, just those crappy TGI Fridays or whatever, those little chicken bites,
Yeah,
they got
that's
the
what I was
sweet.
rocking last
Those
year.
those work. Those cook because they're already pre-cooked anyway, so those reheat really good. Those work out well.
Yep. Chicken tender bites, and then
Yeah.
I just like sandwiches, like just a turkey sandwich.
Yep.
Like, as soon as you get a little warm in your muff pot, and
Yep.
it's like perfect.
A sandwich though, a true sandwich, you got to remember to flip the thing, or else you're gonna screw yourself.
Charred on one side.
Yeah,
cold on the other.
one side's black and the other side is barely warm.
You got to set a reminder on your phone for
10 o'clock in the morning,
10
10:30
o'clock
or whatever.
All right, time to flip your sandwich.
Yeah, that's
But-
given you get out at like 8 a.m. or so. But
Yeah, well, yeah. As-
speaking of riding, I was talking to Tony and Andrew, obviously. So, little rewind. Our buddy Andrew Strickland, who has been the one setting up Grew for us forever. He came down and stayed with me for a couple days, but he basically wanted the grass drags experience, so he tagged along with us and helped us out tremendously. And he got to take in the whole. He's never been to grass drags or any snowmobile show like that at all. So he came down and he was really helpful, and that was pretty cool. But where I was going with that was I was talking to him and Tony about we're going to try to plan to do the Gaspé Loop on trail sleds in 2026. So not this upcoming winter, but the following winter.
yeah.
Because I'd say even now we're probably behind the 8 ball for planning to do a Gaspé trip. Like people plan that. I've never done it, but as I understand, it's quite a planning to pull it off, like where the stops are and which route you take and all that sort of stuff. So like Tony got a new boost VR1, Strickland got an assault boost or just an assault boost, and obviously I've got my XRS and stuff. And so we were just talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, you wouldn't want to do that?" He's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I've always wanted to do it." I was like, "Yes, let's plan it, let's do it." So
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't ask you because I know you number one, you don't have a trail sled. You're not going to do that on anything
no.
other than a dedicated trail sled. You'd be an absolute maniac to do it on anything else.
Yeah, it would be really not fun.
No. We could get you a demo. I'm sure either between Livingston's or Scranton, we can get you a demo trail sled and do it.
Yeah,
It takes like a week. I mean, listen, I'm not going to, I'm going to be honest. That's going to be a lot of trail riding even for me. I don't necessarily
trail riding.
But it's the same sort of idea with like Grew. It's the adventure.
Of course,
it's in our name. It's all about the adventure. And like, do I want to ride 6 days in a row on trail? No. After 2 days, I'm going to be like, this sucks. Not sucks, but So, but I just want to. I don't know. I feel like in the whole East Coast snowmobile, like what you can do on a sled. That's one of those things that's a big one that all people talk about, doing the Gaspé Loop. So I don't know. And we spent enough time up there, obviously. I'm like, I think I could do it. And Strickland also speaks French, which would be really helpful.
That's a big plus.
That's a big plus because
Big
there's
plus.
a lot of French speaking up there.
Yeah,
and me no parler français so well. So
no hablo inglés, please. Yeah. I don't know. That's it's like one of those things where it's like you allot so much time to ride throughout the season with busy schedules and this
and that takes up more than a week.
Exactly. You're like, that's a lot of time where it's like
Yep.
you could go
Sure.
ride somewhere else
Yeah.
or do something else. So it's like,
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, definitely like for an experience.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I don't think it's something I'm gonna ever want to even do again. Like
Except those days like where we woke up on top of the hill, the lighthouse house.
Yeah.
And the wind was rapping. It was like
Negative.
25 below zero, and it's like, to go hop on a trail sled all day.
I mean, the trail sleds they got heated seats now and everything, bro. Like, I don't know. It ain't like it used to be, but it's cold. It's still cold. Like I'm not
Right.
you know,
It's like at
I'm
least
not
when it's that cold and you're gonna go ride trees. It's like you're in the trees. You're not in the
protected.
wind.
Yeah.
You're sweating your ass off because you're working and this and
Yeah.
that. But just sit on a trail sled. I don't know.
I don't know, Ricky.
I don't know, Ricky.
I don't know, man.
But I mean,
you
go
know,
for it.
but also you know how different the trails are in Canada because obviously we have to ride. Like the trails up there are phenomenal. They take such good care of their trails, and their trail system is just so well mapped out and done. It's like I've read about the people, they'll do 200 miles in a day, and they're to their next destination just after lunchtime, and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think it's like, I don't think it's, yes, it's a lot, but it's not like you're literally dusk till dawn just slamming miles all day.
Right, and the miles are easy.
Yeah, on beautiful, really fast trails, and there's no speed limit up there, so that's kind of cool too.
You guys are reckless.
Oh, you don't like going fast either?
I want to go fast.
You were in the XRS. You're like, man, this, you're doing 90 or whatever. You're like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's
Yeah.
all fun.
Yeah, no, doing it on a mountain sled would be just not. Nope.
Imagine your alpha trying to trail ride that far. Oh my
No.
god. Number one, your new track would probably be a lot better. Your other one would just be a smooth belt. It'd be like a conveyor belt. There wouldn't be a single paddle left.
If you, I mean, I don't know how many miles the Gaspé Loop is, but I don't think the track would make it.
Yeah.
If you did, call it what's it?
I think
1,000
it's
miles?
I think it's like 13, 14. You can do up to 2,000. Depends on where you cut across.
Of course, right.
So I think it's like the low end is right around 1,000, and I think the high end is around 2,000. But I think the like sweet spot is like 13, 1,400.
So call it 1,000.
Call it 1,000.
Right, call it 1,000.
Still a lot.
I replaced my track at 800 miles.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a lot of trail riding.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah.
trail riding, but not
Yeah.
exclusively doing,
And for the record,
70 miles
trail-
an hour on, hard pack.
Trail is what ruined that track. It's not the woods.
Of course.
The
Yeah.
woods don't obviously the woods don't do it any favors, but it's the heat that's built up in the
rail.
paddles from
The
going
rail,
down trail.
like the
Right.
rail having all the heat in one spot just
Right.
delaminates the center of the track. So I'd be willing to bet if you did that, it wouldn't make the total trip.
No, I bet you that track could though. The 2.6,
Yeah.
those things are tough as nails. Those are really good tracks. You're gonna be, this configuration is much more reasonable for
I think so. I think so.
for riding out here.
I think
One,
so.
it's a 154,
Yeah.
not a 55, 54.
Yeah.
Yeah.
54. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. The running boards could be not long for this world, but
We'll see.
because those like rear stirrup, like see where the stirrup goes up.
It's all plastic.
Yeah, this bar runs out, so that whole upright is all plastic.
No.
So 250 pounds of baby gorilla standing on that. I don't know.
You'd got to think the engineers at Articat, tested this. It's probably like the Backwoods video where they just threw logs at it and see if it would break. Nope, it held up to that hickory stump. We're good to go.
Yeah, we're gonna see, but yeah. So going back to the Gaspé trip, that would be a lot of fun. But I think the biggest unknown that you'll never really figure out is the weather.
Of course.
Right.
It would be if it's miserable, socked in, freezing cold, blowing the whole time. It's not going to be as fun
Right.
as if it's beautiful, sunny,
If
30
it's like,
degrees.
If it's like 25 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, and the trails are just corduroy and everything's mint. But like, there's stories that people remember. We were in Matane. Well, I've got snowed in Matane. You weren't there on that trip, but like, there was people that like got snowed in on a trip for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Couldn't even snowmobile. There was like the wind was blowing so hard, and like whatever. It's like that's a real possibility.
Yep. That's happened to me in Utah last year. We
Yeah.
went to Beaver Creek Lodge.
Yeah, you
We
guys
were,
got snowed in.
we were snowed in for an entire day.
Yep.
Couldn't leave. It was just 60-mile-an-hour gusts of
Yep.
wind, and just you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you.
Yeah,
for
you
a
guys
whole
didn't.
day.
You guys didn't ride, right? Or
Nope.
you tried?
We
You
did.
tried
We-
to in the afternoon or something like
We
that.
went out for like an hour, and
Yeah.
like it was dangerous. Where
Yeah.
you couldn't see in front of you.
Yeah.
It was just blowing snow. But
No, and that's not enjoyable. If you can't see what you're doing and you can't
No.
like, what's the point?
no, it gets really dangerous too, because not only can you not see, but if someone got fucked up, you couldn't see them.
Yeah, you wouldn't know where they are.
Like if you went over, if someone went over like a tree well and got stuck, like you wouldn't be able to find them.
No.
You wouldn't be able to see them.
No.
So it's dangerous to go out. Now, obviously, trail riding is different, obviously, but
Right.
mountain riding when you can't see what you're doing
Is not ideal.
it's not
Yeah.
worth it at that point.
Yeah.
But when you go out and go out west, and it's like you only have a couple days to ride, and one of them is like that. It's like, oh,
You're like,
man.
well, we gotta try.
Yeah, we tried. We went into some fields and some meadows, and it was like
Just did some circles.
yeah,
and
it's like this is just too
this is too dangerous. Yeah.
can't see. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that would be fun. Be fun. I mean, you're gonna be getting up in the morning at 8 o'clock, and it might be kind of tough some of the days, but
It might be. I mean, it's 2 years from now, so or 8.
Oh,
I
that's
guess
right,
a
you're
year
doing-
and a half.
yeah,
Well, again, like that's one of those. That's the kind of thing you got to get. Everyone's got to be on the same page and take the time off and figure out. There's a lot of logistics to doing that, obviously.
oh, of course. You gotta like book all your places you're gonna stay, and like
And you got to think about this. You can only pack what you can fit on your sled. And you can't bring too much because obviously you don't want to overload yourself or your sled or just, so like you're
Right.
literally living out of your tunnel bags for a week, which is like, I mean, you're living in your sled gear, obviously, but you still get to the hotel at night and got to have a shower and, underwear and just,
right.
yeah, so like that's kind of,
And the other big thing to that, that you don't get with any other type of snowmobiling is like as soon as you leave for the first day, you're out.
that's it.
You can't be like, oh, I gotta go back to my truck. I gotta do this, or I
Nope.
sled broke. I gotta do. It's like, nope. You're
Nope.
you're way out in the peninsula now. It's like, okay, now what?
Well, see, I think that's one of the things. Obviously, there's sections where there's a lot up there where there's nothing and no one. If you break down, it's going to suck. But I do think there's a pretty good, like the way the loop is. And obviously, because if you've been to Gas Bay, you only drive around the perimeter anyway. There's nothing in the middle except forest. There's not like a lot of towns except Murdo. So, like, I think that there is infrastructure to help you if you blow up or something happens or you need a ski or whatever the hell, who knows what could happen. So
Yeah, you should get an InReach.
you get cell service up there everywhere.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. By 2026, our phones are going to be satellite anyway. Let's face it. I mean,
Elon's going to save us.
That's going to be the next. That's going to be the next phase of things. Like we were just talking about that. So we do as a treat to ourselves every year after Grass Drags, we get together up at his camp and they do a little hunting and we just, it's our unwind and it's just a yearly tradition or whatever. And the beauty of your camp is there's no service. I mean, none. You can hike up in the woods to this one spot and barely get Bell Canada or whatever. But like, there's just no service, period. You can't get out up there, and we're like having the conversation. It's like, boy, probably won't be a ton of years before that disappears and phones are true satellite, and you have perfect service everywhere.
I think it's almost there now.
It is because you said iPhones.
The new iPhones can text through satellite.
Right.
You can't call.
How does it like just through your regular text SMS app? You go in and you can send a text, and it's just like, oh, no service, bing, up to the satellite, and it just does it automatically.
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, I don't believe you can call or you can't transfer any data.
Yeah.
It's literally just text.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I don't know how it's priced or if like if it's going to be an upcharge to like do satellite. I don't know how it works, but I just know I'm fairly certain the new iPhones can text via satellite.
That's crazy. So it's obviously it's not far off, and people,
it's not far off.
And people have talked about obviously Starlink has been super successful, and Elon and all that sort of stuff. Eventually, he's going to have a phone or a way to have current phones interface to the satellites, and you're going to have perfect service everywhere. Which, for a safety standpoint, forget snowmobiling, just as a whole is huge. I mean, that's hunting, fishing, just anytime you're out in the boonies. No matter what medical emergency, Lord knows,
right?
Like it's going to be really great, but unfortunately, it is going to ruin.
It's
going to use the ruin what it is to get away when you can't get away anymore,
right?
From your phone.
Yeah, it's like the Saturday we went up for ATF. It was like we all just spoke to each other the entire time.
Yeah,
Nobody
picked up a phone. Nobody picked up a cell phone except to maybe change the song. That's it.
Yeah, no one was texting wives to check in with this and so and so. It was just
did you see what's going on with the election? Or none of that.
No,
nothing.
It was just like you just talk to who's there, and that's the beauty of it is that you literally do unplug and don't have any outside like not distractions, but any outside media. It's just like you're there for the weekend and just enjoy it, you know. So yeah, to your point, that's gonna go away. But which is nice with like the InReaches is like you do have the ability for texting.
Yeah.
Not even so much like you could say like at your camp you have service.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But if you're way up in the trees somewhere up in border Maine or something.
Yep.
And someone breaks a leg, you could be like
Ixnay on the egg break leg. Yeah.
Like obviously, in your situation, you were able to get out with,
Yeah,
help.
but it very well might not have been that situation.
Like if it was any more severe and you literally couldn't move, they couldn't move you.
Having that, having it in reach.
You'd have to
service.
SOS and in reach, to be like, we need.
Does the Garmin on your cat, does that have any of that capability?
I believe it does, yeah.
So in an emergency, you could use your factory.
I have to look and see if there's and someone will probably know more about the new screen than I do, but I believe it has all the Garmin features. So I'm fairly certain you could do SOS.
That's That's
SOS.
that's awesome.
And then you can interface with other InReach devices. So I could text other like my other InReach thing.
It's so funny. Like Cat was down here with the analog gauges forever, and obviously Polaris had the 7S forever, and Skidoo's it's okay. It's below Polaris's, and now Cat's is like kick ass.
Dude, I came home. I was like, I like plugged my sled into my Wi-Fi. I'm like, I've never
I know.
paired my sled to Wi-Fi before, and it ran a bunch of updates. And I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Dude, I gotta do it to my XRS because there's a whole new trail map. There's a new map package. So one of the crappy things about the Skidoo displays, which anybody who has a new 10.25 or whatever it is knows, your phone has to be plugged into it in order for the maps to work, and you can't run. I think you can't do multiple Bluetooths at the same time, or it's just really funky. So without your service and without your phone plugged in, the map feature in the display doesn't work at all, which is just useless. It sucks. So now finally there's a new firmware package coming from Skidoo that is for the 25s that you can put on the old ones, which I'm going to do. So that it's a standalone map, which is what it should have been from the beginning. It's stupid that you have to have your phone be part of it. Phone shouldn't even need to be connected at all if you don't want it to.
Right.
Like my Polaris, my phone's never connected to that. I don't care. I can see the map. I can see where my buddies are. If I want to do Bluetooth through it, I can for like headphones. Other than that, I don't care.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, because that one does like media. You can do like your phone through that. I don't know if you could. I would assume you could pair the siphons to the sled, and you could just change the song on the sled versus like pulling your phone out.
Yep.
So I literally have it plugged in downstairs.
I know. I saw that. You're like, dude, I got my hood plugged into my computer on my workbench, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm like,
that's new.
Run some stuff and change some settings and whatnot, which is nice because I was like, I gotta figure out a way to run this thing with the sled not on.
Right.
So I'm not gonna have the sled idling while I'm like playing around with it.
Right.
So it's like the USB-C in the back, plug it in, and
but didn't what's her face there from Articat say though, once you start it and it powers up, there's a setting for how long it stays lit after the sled cuts off because it's got a capacitor in it, obviously.
Yeah,
so
it's got like internal battery. Yeah.
Right. So it's got I
think like 30 minutes is the
max.
The max.
Yeah,
it'll stay on.
No, you should be able to get a lot done in that time.
Right. Well, yeah, especially when you're like you just stopped at one place and you're like, oh, I want to check out where I am.
Right.
You have a half an hour.
I mean, listen, you could spend an hour probably what you're going to do for the very first time, just figuring it all out and every intricacy and every menu and getting it dialed the way you want it. But after that, you don't need more than a minute probably.
Right. Yeah. No, it's nice too because now if once I get this figured out, I can leave my InReach home and then I can text my InReach from the sled.
That's pretty cool.
Which is nice. If I'm like way out wherever the hell I am, I can just, up in Gru, I can be like, I can literally be in the woods and just text home and be like, yeah, everything's all good.
Yeah.
Which again, we'll have cell phone service, but still in the woods, you could still text if you needed to.
Right.
I
was going to say, I think cool. Gru is Wi-Fi only. There's no, so it's like calling through Wi-Fi or text through Wi-Fi. There's no service there. No.
I would assume they have, they may not have Starlink, but it's got to be something.
I think it is Starlink.
It's got to be satellite internet.
Yeah, they got satellite because there's no wire.
Right,
there's no telephone wires or whatever running to there.
Right.
So
yeah, I think Elon's going to take over with the Starlink thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the way it's going to go.
Yeah. We were talking about buying one for Sled the East just so we'd have standalone Wi-Fi for ourselves for like our point of sale systems and stuff, which thankfully, Grass Drags has just gotten in the beginning, in the infancy of service there, it was really bad.
Right.
We couldn't get anything done, and it was embarrassing how bad
this year
it
was flawless.
It
died once.
That's what I was getting to, is like we were really close to pulling the trigger on one, and we decided not to, and we didn't need it. This year was great. No problems, which is awesome that they, obviously they're keeping that infrastructure up. Because for vendors, it's incredibly important.
Oh yeah, I think at one point it wasn't, and it was kind of like a nice to have, but now it's becoming like
a necessity.
Yeah, it's like everybody's doing,
Well, we talk about it like not even, let's call it 6-8 years ago, even COVID or whatever. It was a primarily cash sale. It was people brought cash and they spent cash at Grass Drags, and they still do that. But I think for the first time, we saw more credit card sales than we did cash last year, I think it was, which is like, man, that's like as the world turns, it's just it's interesting to see it go that way.
Yeah.
So that puts into perspective how important having good service,
having
good services,
good reliable service.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
yeah, what else? I don't know. You're sending old Alpha to Utah this year. That's a big.
It's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
It's a big thing. Actually, I was just thinking when I was lying in bed the other night, I was like, oh man, I got to reclutch my
Yep.
sled because it's not.
You got on a wall over there. I see like 100 Arctic Cat weights. I'm sure you got to have a pair in there that'll work.
I don't even need to. I have the SLP adjustable weights.
Oh no!
So I just gotta back out some.
Oh man, those things are so baller.
I gotta back out some weights.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about that. I'm like, because it's already in the trailer, and I'm like, I'm bringing it down next week, and I go, crap, I gotta do that before, I can do it in here when I'm like, it's nice and seeing it warm. I'm not doing it in a trailer before I go out there.
Right.
Like, take my time and do it now. And then I'm thinking about this sled. I'm like, shit, this sled's probably clutch for 8,000 or above. So I got to get a pair of weights for this because I'm sure this is clutch for not here.
So it's not an option when you order it to pick your elevation.
No.
Polaris started doing that like 2 or 3 years ago. You either pick high elevation or low elevation clutching. So it's like, I don't know, 1,000 to 4,000 and then 6 to 9 or something like that. I don't know.
And this new Adapt clutch is like so different.
Oh, it's crazy different.
It's so different. Like this, they put like a steel spider in it now.
We were talking about that with Brian from B&M, and I'm like, man, that is a hunk of metal in that thing because I guess the previous one was aluminum or something. It wasn't strong enough.
Right, because my 21 clutch, they put a recall out for it, and then the recall was a metal shroud to go over the clutch to save you from exploding.
Right. So when it does come up, so when it does,
was just like it's probably going to grenade itself. So here's a metal shroud to make it so it doesn't take your leg off.
Contain the explosion within
pretty much.
Yeah, within the sled.
Yeah. So yeah, mine's obviously still good. Knock on wood that it doesn't do that. But yeah. So the new one is considerably skinnier and then has that steel spider in it, so hopefully it doesn't grenade itself. But I got to get some new weights for it because I got to obviously I haven't rode it yet, but I am pretty.
I bet you that'll be something to come to the aftermarket probably really quick with those is like a TKI or somebody doing a billet spider because it can be just as strong but way lighter. Because obviously that steel, that's a piece, that's heavy. Yeah. And so like if I'm sure the aftermarket's already working on a replacement billet spider that's going to be again as strong but weighs way less. Because obviously what's everybody after? Rotating mass. Rotating mass is all you read about. Which you get a belt drive now.
Hey,
that is so sweet. Are you going to get an extra belt for that?
I probably should.
You probably should. Yeah. Yep.
I probably should.
I mean, listen, I've blown one in all my Polarises forever, which is like, they're pretty tough is all I'm saying. Like I wouldn't lose sleep about it, but it's probably a good idea to have one.
It's so small. That's what
ain't much to them.
It's so crazy how small it is. And it's like how much torque and power is on that little
band. But then you see that and then you see a chain case. You're like, Jesus, what a waste. Like chain case is so much stuff.
Oh,
it's
so much
fluids.
Stuff.
It's seals, it's bearings, it's tensioners, it's all this stuff.
Speaking of chain case, remember we were doing my track last year in here?
Yeah, and your pickup wasn't attached.
Remember all the crap that was in there?
Yeah, they do that
all
though.
Those shreds of plastic,
that
there was like shards of plastic in there.
Yeah,
floating in the gear oil, and I'm like, what the hell is this going from?
It must have rubbed on something. We didn't see anything though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's not like we saw like a spot where it was chewing into it or anything.
Yeah, it's like like the bearing seal or something, that little ring that goes on the bearings of the top gear or something.
You'll be like 9,000 RPM, 8,600 RPM in Utah. That'll let go. Whatever that is. Whatever that is.
Shush.
You'll be in some back bowl somewhere.
Put that even on me.
I'm trying.
I was looking up the new Adapt clutch to put on my sled, and I was like, that probably not a bad idea to get one of these and put it on the new sled. So
what's funny is all the Polaris guys go backwards. They put the P85 clutches on, get rid of the P22s, and they put the old style clutch on because those are just reliable as the day is long. And the new ones, they fixed it, but the interim ones, like I had one go and take out my crank on my boost, so like I know firsthand they'll suck. But apparently the new ones don't, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of seeing. But yeah, clutches I got to do.
Yep.
That's the one thing it's got to do. It's got to happen before it goes.
Yep.
But
spare belt. Got to get all your when you get a new sled, especially a new chassis, you got to start over with the things you need for it, right?
Yeah, I got to get a new toolkit. I got to get, was at my nice little metric toolkit and my little things I had in that sled. So now I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get a bag. I gotta get a tunnel bag for it because there's
and you can obviously
zero storage.
You can fit some stuff under your seat, like the stuff you don't need often, like a toast wrap could live in there, and things like that.
Yeah,
your emergency type stuff, not your everyday grabs.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, some goodies coming for it. But
yeah, I ordered another Pelican case. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the 146. I'm going to take the Polaris Lock and Ride hardware and retrofit it to a Pelican case for the new Chaos. So
yeah,
I think it's the slickest way to go, because I am terrible at remembering to either clip or zipper things. I'm the worst.
Yep,
it has happened. I have lost shit multiple times, and I will be the first one to admit I suck when it comes to that. So the Pelican case is just like, it's you if it's open, it's open. You can't even, like, it's much easier to remember to close it up. And like the only good bag, for the Polaris is the Barant one, but like it's cool and all, but it is a lot of extra zippers and clasps, and it's not waterproof at all. And you open it up and it gets full of snow all the time, and like it works and it's good and everything, but the Pelican case is just the best. So
yeah. I tried to order the mountain bag, the new attached mountain bag. I was going to put it on my 21. So I got the attached pieces and everything. And as I was putting it on, I didn't really like it. It was like, it's only like this tall, which is nice. But you couldn't even put a bottle of Gatorade in it. Right. It's like, it's
nice
big.
that it's slim, but you need to be able to put stuff in it.
Right.
That's the idea.
It's really big, but it's not very tall.
Yeah.
And there's an outer zipper and an inner zipper, and I'm like, I don't think I like this thing.
Your seat comes off with just a quarter turn, right?
Yeah.
Like one of those little,
Yeah, it's just a little quarter turn, a little catching tab in the front.
Yeah, so you don't need any tools to take that off. So you could keep things, again, you're not putting your Gatorade or your spare gloves in there, but the stuff that, like I said, toast wrap or
tools.
Whatever.
Like you don't need your tools,
all the time.
every single ride. But,
no. I mean, if you're with Polaris guys, you might.
Well,
it's a good idea, yeah.
Keep them at the ready.
Hey, man, I'll throw stones. I don't live in no glass house. I just like what I like. I can't help it.
Yeah.
No.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited to ride this year. I think it goes without saying, I think everyone's in the same boat of like getting excited to ride, but like from my perspective, it's been a long time coming.
You're due for the upgrade.
Yeah,
the update, I should say, big time, because when was the first year of the Ascender chassis?
2012.
Jesus. So it's literally 12 years.
Yeah.
Of variations, but pretty much the same.
So I had a 12, bones. I had a 12, a 15, an 18, and 21.
Yeah.
So I've had 4 on the same chassis.
Yeah.
Different, alpha versus, new front suspension, little things, but like as far as like a whole new thing, it's been a minute.
If Arctic Cat had offered that sled, remember there was the rumors about maybe they're going to offer a twin rail again or something like that?
Yeah.
And this is your East Coast sled. Which would you have picked?
I don't know. That's a good question.
This is dedicated East Coast sled.
I don't know.
Would you get the alpha rail if you had the choice?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm again, I haven't ridden yet, so I don't have any, I don't have any.
Yeah, but you know what your other one handles like.
Right. And the feedback I'm hearing on the new Catalyst with the Alpha is that the sled is so much lighter that when you're in a side hill, it's not pushing the weight of the sled as much.
Mm-hmm.
So it tends not to wash out as easy because it has less weight to push.
Uh-huh.
So that was the one thing that I think it was it was in one of the Snow West podcasts. They were talking to the Black Cat team, I think.
I was going to say it was the Arctic Cat engineers or something like that, right?
Yeah, and then one of the Black Cat guys was talking about that main difference, and I'm like, I'm really excited to kind of feel what that's like.
Yep.
If it was on the old chassis,
mm-hmm.
I would go to twin rail.
Yeah,
I would go twin rail. This one, I'm still like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
because it is like it is going from like side to side in the trees is like instant.
Oh yeah.
On the Alpha, it's just like you don't even think about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's so that compare with the lightweight of it, I'm like really excited about.
Yeah. My feeling towards going towards back to a twin rail would just be for trailability, because obviously the Alpha on trail is not great.
It sucks.
I think this will be better. I have no doubt this is going to be a lot better. But let's face it, we got to ride around a trail. It's to get to the woods for the most part. We're riding trail, going to your campus trail, my campus trail,
Well, going to my camp this year is gonna be
That's a whole different
a sketchy trail ride because the road is all washed out and it's just like they're not gonna groom it and it's gonna be it's gonna be
it's gonna be an interesting year for sure.
Yeah. So
let's hope parade of light. I want parade of lights to happen again in the worst way. I want to do all the totes again and just do a big parade of lights. You know, have it happen. Not have a bonfire in 50 degrees.
It was fun.
It was fun. Tony got the first sled to go over the cheap sled challenge, so you gotta keep your eye open. He got some, I don't know, what was it, Jag 70?
Was it a Puma?
It was a Jag.
Was it Jag?
I don't know what the hell. Some old ass Articat, and it's a 340 single. It's a barn find piece of crap, but it's gonna be perfect to beat around with the citation on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that.
I want to find something that's not too nice.
No,
you know, like I don't want to beat up on like a nice vintage sled. I gotta.
No, no, it's got to be a bone.
Yeah,
it's got to be a running, driving beater.
Yeah,
single cylinder, fan cooled, simple, just basic snowmobile transportation.
Yeah, no, that'll be a lot of fun for like Parade of Lights weekend if it's nice and.
Oh my God, yeah,
nice weekend. We got to build the track though. We got to build a little.
Oh, that's no problem. We can do that.
A little snowcross track for them.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. You know, it'd be hilarious is because obviously I'm really close to the lake. We could take them all down to the lake and do like a drag race, line them all up on the lake and have somebody like drop a flag and like do it all legit. I would definitely lose. That citation is bone slow. That is the even Tony's like got a 340. I'm like, you're gonna blow the doors off of this.
What's the citation?
A 240.
240?
248 single cylinder 248 fan cooled. So it's like the smallest engine that, you know, besides a kitty cat. It's like a Mini Z.
Like my generator over there.
Oh, actually, the generator.
That's a 350.
The generator would smoke that. If it had a track, it would smoke it. Even though it's, you know, not running exactly at the moment, but, you know, that's
what happens when they sit under decks for years without running.
Yeah.
But that's my next project. Once this is, I got to get that. You know.
Well, you're just like grass drags. Once you're all done your stuff off to powder coat, it's like, okay, now I got some time. I got to wait for powder coat to happen, which Scott's, you know, he's you know, it's going down. Well, you're going down to see your parents help him move next weekend. So Race Metalsmiths is in Wilder, which is basically White River. And, you know, it's an hour and a half from us anyway, but if you're going by there, it's literally just right there. So drop all the stuff off and you'll have it back in a couple weeks. And you've been to his new shop, right?
No.
Oh man.
No, I've only been to the old one.
Yeah, the new place is awesome.
Yeah.
Huge, really nice place for sure.
I remember putting parts behind its dumpster.
Yeah.
Last.
Yeah, I know. I did the same. I saw last year I saw him in person and, you know, we shot the shit for a while. He showed me around and all that sort of stuff. But when I had to go pick my stuff back up, it was like on it. Because again, it's usually when we're traveling through there, which isn't all that often. So it's nights and weekends and weird times. It's not usually like a Tuesday afternoon.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing. He's like, oh, I'm going to leave all the stuff out behind the dumpster. And I'm like, yep, thank you.
Yeah. Checks out.
And of course, you know, he throws in a player. So that's where player stuff belongs. Yeah, I know. Thank you. You know, all that sort of banter. Yeah. Yes, I know.
Yeah. So cool.
You want to get schooled on in the background?
Oh,
man, this is such a good series. Like, look at those old sleds, man.
I'd love to like take a trip down memory lane and watch like the Sled Next Y2K and
all that stuff.
But
man, snowmobiling's come a long way. I mean, it's still primarily the same, but just the technology, like doing that is just easy now.
I know. Cool. All right, want to end this one?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Man. All right. We'll talk to you guys later.